Alrighty.
Recording
Oh wait,
at 5.
I actually didn't put the timer.
Hey,
homebodies.
I'm Seth,
And I'm Carina.
and you might notice that we're in a bit of a different space today. We're outside,
Yeah.
in nature, exploring nature, right?
Sorry.
We thought we would maybe take this episode to kind of branch out to something new today. We know that there's a lot of people who might watch our show that are watching this, which is the Introvert City podcast. Link below to our spot, so our Spotify and stuff. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. Maybe some of you are newer though, and you might not have heard our podcast, and this could be your first video watching us at all. So with that being said, we just said it. I'm Seth, and this is my lovely girlfriend Carina. We have been making a podcast for about 2 years at this point, and we've kind of been on the low, and we've been pretty small, been pretty nonchalant about our marketing, but as of recently, we've wanted to start really growing and do a lot more things with our show. And we've kind of wanted to rebrand a little bit here. We've been going by the Introvert City podcast on almost every single platform as of recently. We thought maybe we would change it up a little bit.
Yeah. So we still are the Introvert City podcast, but we're wondering if we should just start creating things that we love, even outside the podcast realm, just as ourselves, like sitting here outside right now. Obviously this isn't a podcast episode, but we had some things that we wanted to talk about and share. So this will just be put out as a regular video, and that's kind of weird because I never saw myself as someone like creating a YouTube channel or anything, but this could be fun, and that's what the heart of everything we do is to have fun and to spark meaningful conversations. Our tagline for the podcast is culture, media, and faith from the perspective of an introvert's complex mind. But what does that look like outside of the studio environment where we sit and we bring our notes and we have guests? Like, what does the content that we want to put out look like outside of that space? So we're just trying something different today. We thought it might feel more connective with anyone watching to just sit outside and to share some of our thoughts with you. So thank you for being here. If you've listened to the podcast, if you've been a loyal listener, we appreciate you and we see you, and we are so grateful for everything that we've learned, starting the podcast and growing in small ways. And so I just kind of wanted to talk about the heart of why we do what we do, and I hope that you'll be able to connect with us in some way in that area.
I would second that. Yeah. Yeah, we're not even around our usual microphones.
Yeah, sorry for the audio.
So, the audio, it's a little poor, but deal with it. We kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about our journey and who we both are as people. So I can go first and talk about myself.
Yeah.
I'm Seth. I'm 21 years old. I'm currently still going to school, and I work full-time as a landscaper. And I also like to do music. I like a lot of things that really kind of spark the creativity, like bulb in my mind. I like to sing. I used to dance. I like to play instruments. And in general, I just like creating art and creative content. And I really like to show people and talk to people about how they feel about certain types of media, such as film. I really love film, other types of music. I really enjoy doing that as myself. And I enjoy speaking to other people and hearing people out and listening and showing that I care about what other people say. But also, I like to know that people care about what I say as well. So that's why I like podcasting. Because I think I have something to say, but I also think that what I have to say is relative to a lot of people. And a lot of people can relate to what we have to say. So, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so I'm Carina, and I'm 20 currently. And you missed the fact that we're both introverts. It's kind of a big part
We
of
are
our
both introverted.
brand. But I have always been a creative person in the writing space. I just love words. I love writing and reading and public speaking, which I know is strange given the fact that I can be quite shy. But I always say that
She's really good at it.
I always say that there's a different type of energy when you get up on stage and you deliver a speech that's impactful and that is making a difference, that you crafted, that you created. It's a very powerful thing, and it makes me feel like I'm not as shy as I am. So that's a passion of mine. And yeah, so we started doing the podcast when I was 18 and he was 19. And we just had a heart to share our passions and also to tell other people's stories, because we had some connections with people who had really powerful testimonies. We wanted a place to talk about our faith too, although we always knew that we didn't want to have a Christian podcast. And actually, if you go on our Instagram, you'll see like one of the posts we have pinned is an introduction to the show, and it's not, we're Christians but this is not a Christian podcast, and we're a couple but this is not a couples podcast. It's just aspects of our identity that we want to bring to the table and we want to talk about. And so the purpose of us just coming on here and talking about the things we do is, like I said, to spark meaningful conversations, to have a place to talk about what we love and what we want to talk about. And it's really amazing that we have the freedom to do that. It feels like nowadays so many people are starting podcasts and so many people are starting YouTube channels, and that can be difficult in the competitive realm. It definitely feels like sometimes it's hard to come up with ideas because we want to be relevant or we want to get to a certain level of success. But at the end of the day, the reason so many people are starting these online platforms is because they also want a place to just talk about what they love. And so sometimes I have to remind myself that I should be grateful that we even have the opportunity to sit out here and post a video and go in a studio and record a podcast. Like, we have a lot of privilege in that way. So I'm just grateful to be here. I'm very grateful for Seth. We talk about our journey as a couple. We've been together for almost 4 years at this point, and you can listen to a lot of our podcast episodes are about our relationship and some of the things that we went through. So
A lot of them about that.
So yeah, with that super long introduction, we appreciate you being here, and we hope that you can come alongside this journey with us. So Seth, I know you had brought up a topic earlier that you wanted to briefly discuss today. What was that?
You're so pretty, you know?
Enough!
She's so
get up and
beautiful.
leave.
She's so pretty. Anyway, yeah, I'm also thankful for her to be in my life. She has helped me do a lot of good change and a lot of good work on myself as well. So it's been really good to work on it together. It can have sometimes its low points and it's hard episodes to make. Sometimes you really don't want to make an episode. Sometimes you really just don't really want to do almost like a business with your loved one, and it can make it sometimes really easy to just think about giving up. And I know for me, I've thought a lot about just kind of stopping because we haven't maybe gotten the recognition or the views or the likes or the people on our show or the type of blow up virality sensation that so many other podcasters or YouTubers or Instagram TikTokers have gotten. And sometimes it feels like we're at a stalemate with the algorithms, so to say. And it can be really, really daunting to think about how, wow, well, you need this to make this amount of money, but not even this amount of money, but even if you want to not do that, to get this on this certain amount of people's like watch list, you have to have this many amount of views, and you have to think of this, and it's like, sometimes it's really hard to not think about that type of stuff. And when you think about that stuff so often, it can really make it hard for you to enjoy what you're doing, and it can make giving up and quitting and walking away so easy and so attractive, honestly. Yeah, anything on that?
Yeah, that's so good, because I feel like that applies to so many aspects, not just starting a business or creating a platform for yourself. Like, if the world has a definition of what success looks like, and I'm not even talking about the world in like in the Christian sense of, Christians always be like, this is the world and this is not the, not the world. I'm not even talking about that. I just mean like culture as a whole has a definition of what it looks like to be successful. And so you spend so long trying to reach that standard, and you see people all around you who seem to have reached that standard super quickly, and they're selling all of these courses on how to do exactly what they did to reach their exact level of success. And it just feels like nobody recognizes anybody's small wins anymore. I don't know if that sounds corny, but it feels like we've had some really impactful interviews and some really amazing moments that just kind of got overshadowed because it's like, oh, well, we're still not at this place. And that feels really hard. And I think that I have applied that to so many areas of my life. as a college student, you know, you feel like you haven't reached a certain level of success if you don't get an internship by a certain time or a job by a certain time, which is a whole other conversation because it's actually impossible to get a job right now. And sometimes, like, having social media and seeing all these people succeed in all of these areas of life just makes you want to give up on everything. And yeah, I think a lot of people, especially in power, have called like Gen Z very lazy. And it's like, what else is going to happen when we see everybody around us succeeding and creating these standards that are absolutely unachievable, and you amount to nothing if you can't reach those?
And all in that, it is very easy to want to give up. In fact, giving up is a lot easier sometimes than keeping it going. And yes, there is something to be said about the fact that sometimes that thing that you're going for is not really worth all the time and energy you're putting into it. And sometimes it is worth it to step away and take a break from it. But if it's something that you feel can really greatly impact the community, it brings you joy and brings out a level of creativity inside of you that you feel can really spark something good and just in other people, I think there's something beautiful in that, something special in that, something to hold on to. It's what a lot of us inside would call, I guess, the human spirit, the indomitable human spirit. It's a beautiful thing to think about that even when a human is pushed to its limits. If it still believes in the creative cause that it's pushing forward, why give up? There's still something there, even if it's small, that keeps you going.
Yeah. And you might, even on that note, you might lose that feeling. I know when I was young, I just felt so creative all the time. When I was young, when I was a kid, I felt like every single thought I had was a vision for the future that I wanted to put into place. And sometimes that feeling of passion does go away. And I would say, like, that doesn't mean that you don't still love it. And Seth was saying that small spark of passion should be your motivation, but what do you do when you don't feel that small spark of passion? Try to get in a quiet space. People have advised me that if you sit in the silence and you really question yourself, and you rediscover that spark, that means it's still there, and you should keep pursuing it. So those are kind of our jumbled, messy thoughts for today. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Again, we hope that you'll kind of ride along this journey with us as we're growing as people and as people who want to put stuff online. Subscribe and let us know your thoughts in the comments. Like, have you wanted to give up on what you love, and what has that looked like for you? And are you rekindling that fire, or are you kind of letting it go? What are you going through with that?
You can find me at its_DANEYL on Instagram.
And you can find me at Carina_B04. You can find the Introvert City podcast at the_introvert_city. Although we may discuss changing usernames now. I don't know. Just stay tuned with all of that stuff. But thank you so much for your support, guys.
Yep, this is Seth and Carina.
Bye, homebodies.
Bye, homebodies.
How'd you feel, Seth?
I felt good.
Look at the sunset right now. That's beautiful. Bye, homebodies.